Anybody can get hot. The San Francisco may get hot. The Redskins may get hot. The Eagles may get hot. They want to win today. Look to see Emmitt Smith get the ball and a big plays downfield to Michael Irvin.
It's been a long stretch for sellout games here. Only the third one in 37 games. A little cooler than normal for this time of year here in Phoenix, but for those of us from back east, it's scrumptious. And we're underway as Phoenix has won the coin toss. And then Elliott kicking it away from the 6. It's Johnny Bailey. He's dangerous. And Bailey is wrapped up at about the 16-yard line. Good special teams coverage by Dallas, and it was Kenneth Gant. Excellent job by the young man from Albany State. Chris Chandler, 4th-rated quarterback in the NFC at the helm, and a big offensive line. Ed Cunningham making only his 3rd start at center.
But he's got a lot of veteran help on the left side with Sharp and May.
Johnny Johnson will need a big game today.
Randall Thrill Hill, fastest man in the NFL, could be a big play guy today.
1st and 10 for the Cardinals. Their posse package, 3 wide receivers. Ball spotted at the 17. Shotgun. Dumps it off, incomplete, intended receiver, looks within Johnny Bailey. Bailey couldn't get the handle on it. Bailey having himself an outstanding season. He's got a real tough defense he's going at today. Jim Jeffcoat making the start in place of the injured Charles Haley. And that D-line, Jeffcoat doing well.
Well, Jeffcoat's had a heck of a year so far, but they all feel they've got to step up a level with Charles Haley out.
Linebacking core has a rookie, Robert Jones, at middle linebacker in the secondary. Tweaking continued by Jimmy Johnson. Kevin Smith making his first NFL start. The rookie, they say, is a great cover man. Nickel defensive package for the Cowboys. Chandler, with time, throws it complete to Larry Centers, and Centers gang tackled. A gain of 6 on the play will bring up a 3rd and 4. This Cowboy defense, #1 rated overall in the NFL without dominating players.
Well, they don't have a lot of dominating players. They play well as a coordinated unit. They try to get 12 men to the ball at all times. That last play, even though it's completed, a lot of pressure by number 92, Tony Tolbert.
Only 6 healthy defensive linemen for the Cowboys per Jimmy Johnson. Leon let in place for Russell Maryland. 3rd and 4. Low snap. Chandler drills it complete for the first down as it's held on by Anthony Edwards. Edwards good pull in and a good adjustment on the part of Chandler. 9-yard pass play.
That's Anthony Edwards. He's the 3rd receiver in their version of the posse. Just runs upfield, a little slant inside. Basically does the possession play, what you want to do to get the first down. Good pass, held on to the ball, took a hit. Not very people want to go over the middle and take that hit. Anthony Edwards, good play.
Opening drive for the Cardinals. 1st and 10, ball at the 32, no score. Johnny Johnson, the lone back, and the ball carrier. And Johnson, good 2nd and 3rd effort, but didn't have much running room at all. And the Cowboys really clogged up the holes nicely. 2 hard-earned yards by Johnson.
The way the Phoenix Cardinals want to do, they want to get a good group line push on that Cowboy defensive line. Well played by the Cowboys. Look, you got almost the entire Cowboy defense in your frame. That's what I mean when I say the Cowboys believe man-to-man they may not be dominating, but they have to have all their guys there. They were there on that play. And just to embellish the point that you made, Phoenix wants to try to hold on to the ball as long as possible to keep that Dallas offense off the field. Well, they're going to chip away today. A lot of 4-yard plays, 5-yard plays, 6-yard plays. Just hold on to the ball.
2nd and 8. Good roll at the H-back spot for the Cardinals. Chandler under pressure. Throws it. Nice haul in by Johnny Johnson. But a good defensive play also by Thomas Everett. A gain of only 3. It looked like it had a big play potential, but again, good hustling effort on the part of the Cowboys defense.
Well, Johnny Johnson, who's a good receiver and a big back, the kind of fellow, if you give him a little room, can make a lot of guys miss. The thinking here is get him out into the flat. He'll make at least one guy miss and make a big play. Not so on that play. Good play.
Well, what a super job by Johnny Johnson. As you take a look at Jimmy Johnson, 4th-year head coach of the Cowboys, said he had a decent week of practice, had the guys focused.
Well, he's got his own individual break.
pumps and throws it incomplete. Intended receiver was Ricky Prohl, and Prohl normally a very sure-handed receiver. So Rich Camarillo will come on to punt.
Chris Chandler hasn't relaxed yet and settled into his pace. Looks like he rushes this ball. That's number 92 in the middle of your screen, Tony Talbert, applying the pressure. Still, Rich Chandler looks a little skittish. It takes some quarterbacks a little time to relax. He kind of rushed the ball. He wasn't really on the mark. But nonetheless, still good pressure by Tony Talbot.
Camarillo, NFC leader in net punting, and Kelvin Martin back to receive for the Cowboys. Already 2 returns for touchdowns this season. He is a threat.
Had a big one last week against the Falcons, JB.
On to 16, Martin. Grab from behind. Nice hustle on the part of Anthony Edwards. Well, we don't need to say what he already told us. He was pumped up. 47-yard punt, only a 4-yard return. Let's go on its opening drive as Chris Chandler talking with Jerry Rome up top. Hey, Coach, what in the world do I need to do? As you take a look at the brain trust, there's
Jerry Rome
to the right.
Yep. Jerry Rome, one of the better quarterback coaches in the league. And Chris Chandler said when we spent some time with him that as a result of Jerry Rome's tutelage, he's become much more comfortable as a quarterback.
And right now, Rome looking at pictures that were taken of that first defensive series by the Cowboys. Cowboys now with their first offensive series. 1st and 10, ball at the 19. Aiken on the handoff to Smith. And Smith across the 20. So about the 21, a gain of 2 on the play. Aeneas Williams on the stop. Troy Aikman just turned 26 years of age yesterday. Still a pup. And a big offensive line he's got there.
That's Eric Williams, the second-year man at right tackle, really starting to make himself known around the NFL.
Talk about a potent set of backs, receivers, and a tight end.
Well, they've got so many ways to beat you. Smith, Irvin, Novacek, a lot of weapons.
Don't think the Cardinals aren't aware. 2nd and 8. Aikman to pass. And drills it complete. We'll see where they mark the forward progress that time, but boy, Aikman showing that strong arm. And it looked to have been enough for the first down. Alvin Harper held on to it, and he's got to play a big game. Robert Massey, all 3 interceptions this year returned for touchdowns. And the young guns at defensive line.
The young guns, Eric Swan, one of the strongest defensive linemen in football.
Linebacking core, Jock Jones and Steve Heitch in for the injured and out. Ken Harvey and Freddie Joe Nunn. The secondary, Tim McDonald, considered by many to be the best safety in the game. There's Robert Massey. On 1st and 10. Tripped up from behind. Give Eric Swan a lot of credit as he gets in to stop Emmitt Smith. Now that will be a key effort all afternoon as Smith loses one. Eric Swan, whom the Cowboys defensive coaching staff has an awful lot of respect for.
Absolutely. Eric Swan matched up on Eric Williams, 2 very large guys. Eric Swan beats Eric Williams on that play, knifes inside, makes the tackle. That's the key for the Cardinals. They've got to stop the Dallas Cowboys with their front line, not have to commit any safety.
Dave Armstead, defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, feels he's going to be an excellent one. 2nd and 11, loss of 1 on the play, ball at the 30. Aikman drills it complete. Darrell Johnston with his first catch of the game, tackled by Lorenzo Lynch.
You know, Aikman gets plenty of time on this. It's good blocking. The Cowboys have a fine offensive line. What the Cowboys' plan is that they know the Cardinals are going to try to take Michael Irvin out of the game and say other guys are going to have to beat him today. Other guys are going to have to step up and make the big play. That's a good example.
There's Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, a very creative mind, and the guys in the Cowboys understandably love him. 3rd and 3. 3 wide receivers. Aikman, 7-step drop. Throws it incomplete. Intended receiver was Calvin Martin, who had it in his hands. And I guess the old thinking, if it's in the hands, you should have caught it.
Well, you should have caught it. Calvin Martin, of course, more widely known for his punt return. The ball was there. He should have caught it. That's why you get paid. This is the pros. There's Reeves. Now, that's the biggest, one of the biggest tight ends in all of football. he's a classic Joe Bugle guy, a tight end that blocked out the sun.
sixth leading punt returner in the NFC. Johnny Bailey awaiting this Mike Saxon punt. Saxon hits off a decent one. Bailey from the 22. Shaking and baking. Bailey, a foot race. Johnny Bailey inside the 15 of Dallas. A 64-yard punt return by Johnny Bailey, besting his best this season, which was 27 yards.
You know, Johnny Bailey has turned out to be Mr. Excitement for the Phoenix Cardinals. We've seen him many times this year. He's always a threat to break the big play. Wonderful return. He's got so much speed and natural running ability. Good eyesight. Once he spots a hole, he's always up the middle, always takes the shortest line to the end zone. You never see him running around the end. It's always straight up field. Johnny Bailey. Big play for the Phoenix Cardinals.
For credit, Darren Woodson with a touchdown-saving grab at least to slow him up. 1st and 10, Cardinals. Ball at the 13 of Dallas. No score here in the first quarter. On the ground, Johnson looking for a hole, and Johnny Johnson inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. We'll see where they spot it. Looks to have been a gain of about 3. Robert Jones, the rookie middle linebacker for the Cowboys, on the stop.
When we spent time with Joe Bugle yesterday, JB, he said in addition to holding on to the ball, keeping the Cowboy offense off the field, we also must put points on the board. We're inside the 20, in the red zone. We can't afford to come up empty because the Cowboys have that big play offense. They score so quickly. Phoenix has got to get some points here.
You see, Bailey was officially credited with a 65-yard return. 2nd and 7. Chandler, little fade pattern, looking for Ricky Kroll, incomplete. And there is a flag on the play. Kroll was complaining that he was held that time. Larry Brown was the man trying to defend him.
The key to defensive back and penalties is holding number 24, defense. You've got to be going for the ball. You have to play the ball. The ball belongs to both of you when it's in the air, but you cannot play the receiver. There he is, clearly holding. Oh, that's not even close. That's called holding. That's called penalty. That's not a question of not playing the ball. He just almost undressed him.
Larry Brown making his 25th consecutive start for the Cowboys, longest in the secondary for Dallas, and again underscoring that point about Jimmy Johnson doing a lot of tweaking in that secondary.
Well, that's why they added Kevin Smith to the lineup, JB. They don't have a good man-to-man bunch of guys that can cover. Larry Brown not good at it, and therefore a penalty.
1st and goal, ball at the 5, roll to the near side. The draw to Johnson. Johnson banging hard down near the 1. We'll call it a 3-yard gain by Johnny Johnson. Johnson, of course, last week, not a very good game, as Jimmy Johnson knows how powerful Johnny Johnson is. Johnson held to 33 yards total last week by the Falcons, who were sending everything but the kitchen sink at the running game of Phoenix.
Well, Johnny Johnson also is a little bit banged up. He's got a sore left hamstring, so he's not his whole self. Joe Bugle loves what's happening right now because he's 2nd and 2 from near the end zone. He'd like to use up as much clock here and then score.
No score, 6:41 left in the first quarter play. 2nd and goal for the Cardinals. Derek Ware in motion. Play action. Chandler, touchdown, Phoenix. Larry Centers. Receiving touchdown on the season for Larry Centers. And George, that's exactly what Joe Bugle was saying. When given the scoring opportunities, in addition to holding on to the ball, we've got to score.
Got to score. Got to hold on to the ball. Dave Wannstedt, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, was worried about play action. He said if Phoenix is able to run the ball, they know that Joe Bugle will fake that ball and execute a play action pass, which is what he did. Touchdown.
And Greg Davis, 22 of 22 points after. And the Cardinals striking first, leading the Cowboys by the score of 7-0.
A great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light. And by Castro Syntec.
51 is capacity here, and it looks to be packed to the brim. And the fans have seen the Cardinals strike first 7-0 over the Dallas Cowboys. Greg Davis about to kick off. Kelvin Martin back deep from the 9. And an excellent return by Kelvin Martin across the 30. Finally stopped by Larry Centers, the man who scored the touchdown. Johnny Bailey, the man who set up the Cardinals touchdown. He is having a fantastic year. And Larry Centers, of course, with the pass reception for the touchdown. And George, that looks like something they haven't done too often here.
That's called the "we scored first" against a sellout home crowd dance.
Look at Cunningham. We haven't had a chance to choreograph it, but it looks okay anyway.
And the spike. Top it off.
First and 10 for the Cowboys. Ball at their own 33. 6:21 left in the first quarter play. On the screen, Smith. Emmitt Smith with a 3-yard pass play. Eric Hill on the stop.
You know, a play like that, the Cowboys look at as it's like a run play. San Francisco runs this kind of little flip the ball out to your best runner. What you want to do is give him a little space, a little room, and hopefully he can break it for a big play, but you just want to get 3 or 4 yards. They only got 2 because it drew such a crowd. You had 8 Cardinals over there making the play right now. They're emotionally extremely high because they got the lead and they want to keep it.
2nd and 7. Ball at the 36. Aikman to pass. Under pressure, escapes. And Aikman has to take it himself for a gain of 3. Langston and Hill on the stop, but Jock Jones flushed him out. And Jock Jones, very energetic and excited guy who says, hey, I can do the job.
Jock Jones not only says, I can do the job, that I can take over for Billy Joe Nunn, but he's very fast. He thinks that he believes he has to put pressure on the corner. See him trying to come around that corner, but he never stops. He goes inside, keeps that motor running. He thinks that he has so much speed that even if he's blocked initially, he'll eventually come back and make the play. Did it twice against the Falcons last week.
Darryl Johnston goes out. Calvin Martin comes in. 3rd and 4. 3 wide receivers. This is Novacek in motion. Aikman to Novacek. And there is a flag in the backfield.
I think it's a holding penalty against Eric Williams that Jock Jones forced by going upfield and faking a spin back inside.
Number 79, offense, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
And that is Eric Williams, young man out of Central State.
That's Jock Jones going up. He went up top last time. What he did this time was fake up top, come underneath, force the holding penalty. Eric Williams is a big man, 6'6", 328 pounds, doesn't have the footwork to keep up with a speed guy like Jock Jones.
Penalty brings up a 3rd and 14. Ball back at the 29. Aikman. Deep drop. Complete. And Smith trying to make up some lost yardage. Run out of bounds at the 35. Great gang tackling by the Cardinals. As Smith regained 6 of those yards. And Jimmy Johnson right now looking at a fired-up Phoenix Cardinals team. The Cardinals looked at this crowd here as an opportunity to win them over.
Well, they want to win the crowd over, and right now they're playing at an emotional high. You've got Emmitt Smith. Look at being chased by that. 4 Cardinals, 5, 6 Cardinals. When you have 6 guys on the ball, there's no way for a running back, no matter how great, even the great Emmitt Smith, to make a play.
And Fritz Shermer, as you take a look at him, the defensive coordinator for the Cardinals, very pleased with what's happening in the early going. Saxon. And Bailey takes it on the hop at the 21. Much better coverage this time by the Dallas Cowboys as Clayton Holmes was there to stop him. limiting Bailey on that 44-yard punt to only a 6-yard return. Back with more action here at Sun Devil Stadium after this. 7-0, Phoenix on top, 3:45 left in the first quarter of play here. And earlier scores from today. We'll take a look. Miami did, in fact, hold off Houston. And Green Bay, I tell you, Mike Holmgren really has that squad playing well. We saw them last week against Philadelphia pulling off the win. We'll take a look at Jimmy Johnson wanting to see more intensity in his troops today. First and 10. Johnny Johnson has a hold. Kenny Norton finally dropping Johnny Johnson after a gain of 4. Will bring up a 2nd and 6. And George, last week we saw the Cowboys a little flat against the Rams. Maybe the same thing happening today?
Well, they were flat. And defensively, since they don't have a dominant player, the nearest they have is Charles Haley, and he's not playing together. They have to play as a unit. The problem with a young team is sometimes they can get in an emotional valley. Jimmy Johnson was worried that that might happen this week. He went into his coach's book of tricks. So no matter how old you are, you can still be brainwashed.
Charles Haley out with a hamstring problem. The defense was looking to rise to the challenge, as most people said, hey, Charles Haley is the reason his defense is so good. 2nd and 6. Play action. Chandler drills it complete for the first down to Randall Thrill Hill. Randall Hill with an 18-yard pass reception from Chris Chandler, and a good job of blocking up front by that O-line of the Cardinals.
One of the difficulties for the Cowboys today is that Jeff Coat is their best pass rusher. He has 6 traps this year, but he's going against Louis Sharp, who is an all-pro left tackle. No pressure on Chris Chandler, ball executed, first down.
Jim Jeffcoat is having a very good season, the leading sacker on this team with 6.5 coming into the game. But I tell you, Charles Haley certainly made things happen with his 32 quarterback hurries. First and 10. Ball at the 49. On the ground, Johnny Johnson, and Johnny Johnson running hard. Johnny Johnson with that 4-yard gain, George, we talked about how he had a chest wall injury earlier in the season that limited his play. He's got a bit of a growing problem right now, but not complaining. He just wants to do well.
Well, he's a running back. Running backs, by definition, take a lot of hits and are supposed to be hurt. If they were healthy, you'd think something was wrong. Johnny Johnson is a starting running back. He's a fine running back. Mark May, we had lunch yesterday, likened him to a small John Riggins. Guys that carry the football get hurt, but the great ones play anyway.
That's a compliment. 1:32 left in the first quarter play. Phoenix on top, 7-0. 2nd and 6. Chandler on the draw to Johnson, and Johnson that time wrapped up. A gain of only 1. Good defensive reaction on the part of Dallas, and specifically Tony Tolbert, who is really having himself a very nice game. You were talking about Tolbert and the job he's been doing early on.
In that first series, he seemed to push Danny Villa, the right tackle for the Cardinals, number 74, back into Chris Chandler. Danny Villa, a good football player, but the kind of guy that's not a dominant football player. Tony Tolbert could be one of the keys for the Cowboys today. That might be where the mismatch is for them.
Phoenix looking to get to the 41 for the first down. 3rd and 5. Dime defensive package in for the Cowboys. Chandler out of the shotgun. Breaking through, Big Daddy Leon Lett and Jim Jeffcoat. Jeffcoat with a 7.5 sack of the season. As we said at the top of the show, a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans here, and Chandler is hurt. Jim Jeffcoat dropped him for a 12-yard loss, and it may be more of a loss to the Cardinals. And Tim Rosenball snapping on the chin strap to warm up. Rosenball had been replaced by Chandler when Rosenball went out earlier in the season.
Rosenball's a good quarterback himself. These guys have a lot in common. They're both tough guys. That's Jeffcoat on top. Seems to fall on his left shoulder. This is Tony Tolbert in the middle of your screen. They know he's too much for Danny Villa, so they're doubling him. That's number 61, Lance Smith, picking him up after he does the inside move. He's the one that flushes Chandler out of the pocket, sending him to the other side of the field where Jeffcoat got the sack.
And Chandler had really been having himself one fine season, finally starting to mature into a good quarterback. And what a shame right now. Well, we'll get a report from the field, but right now we'll take you back to New York and Greg for a report. Well, I tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing Greg and Terry tomorrow night.
Yes, Evening Shade.
Evening Shade, prime time performance by the Big Two in New York. All right, folks, as Tim Rosenbaugh warms up that throwing arm, we'll take a break and come back. Cowboys and Cardinals in a moment. First quarter play, Chris Chandler still down on the field as they bring the gurney out, and it looks to be his ribs. We'll get a report on that. And again, George, I was saying what a shame, because Chris Chandler had really capitalized on the opportunity to play when Tim Rosenbaugh went down the third game of the season.
That's number 78, big Leon Lett, who looks like he's going to inadvertently maybe knee him in the midsection or so. And Leon Lett, of course, is a very big man, 6'6", 292. You've got Jeffcoat on you, and that's one thing about being a quarterback. You tend to draw a crowd, and you hate to see a guy hurt, but it's football.
And that's one of the reasons why you have at least two very good quarterbacks on the roster. So Tim Rosenbaugh, who was actually hurt in both of the first games of the season that he played, went out in the third game, an injury in the Philadelphia game, separated his throwing shoulder, and Chris Chandler had come in and done a remarkable job and had moved up to, as I mentioned at the top of the show, the fourth-rated quarterback in the NFC.
Tim Rosenbaugh and Chris Chandler are similar in that they both can run when they have to, and they're tough guys. You know, Rosie has always been a quarterback that's like a linebacker playing that position, and I don't think that the Cardinals lose that much. You hate to see a man get hurt in any capacity in a football game, which is supposed to be fun, especially so. But I think for the Cardinals, in terms of offensive drop-off, they may be able to afford it.
Well, you know, one guy who certainly is hurt by this as well, Jerry Rome, the quarterback coach, offensive coordinator for the Phoenix Cardinals. He and Chandler, as well as Rosenbaugh and Sack, have spent an awful lot of time together. And Chandler makes no bones about crediting Jerry Rome with his development as a quarterback. There's Jerry Rome. A guy that you know pretty well.
Yeah, Jerry Rome was with the Redskins when I was there, and he's always been a quarterback coach. He's developed a lot of quarterbacks, from Theismann to Chris Chandler. And Chris Chandler says that he's taught these young guys how to read the defense quickly on his first two steps.
So on fourth down, Rich Camarillo on to punt for the Cardinals, while Calvin Martin waits back at his own 21. And a very good one. Martin pushed back to the 11. And splits a couple of would-be tacklers. Excellent return. Well, I tell you, Calvin Martin certainly has some awfully nice moves. Takes it up to the 35-yard line. So the Cowboys will come out with only 5 seconds remaining. A 51-yard punt. Excellent job by Rich Camarillo. But as well, Jimmy Johnson very pleased to see that 25-yard return by Calvin Martin.
You know, JB, what's concerning Joe Bugle right now, in addition to losing his quarterback, is it puts you into an emotional down to see your quarterback gone. So he hopes his guys can still maintain their high level of play, even though they're feeling bad for their fallen compatriots.
On first down, the hands of Emmitt Smith, and Smith picking his way as he runs the last play of the quarter. And that's the end of the first quarter here at Sun Devil Stadium. Joe Bugle's Cardinals on top by the score of 7-0.
Watching this telecast, and so now Tim Rosenbaugh is a good quarterback, but it's hard to watch your guy down. You know, you can't help but feel bad for him, and so it's hard to maintain that emotional intensity. That's what Joe Bugle's challenge is now: keep his guys up, even though they've lost one of their men.
Okay, and let's take a look back in the first quarter in case you're just tuning in and take a look at the injury. Leon Lett had flushed Chris Chandler out of the pocket along with Jim Jeffcoat, and Jeffcoat gets to him for his 7th and a half sack of the season. And you take a look at Leon Lett and Kenneth Gant all on top of Chris Chandler, and it looks as if he left the game with rib injuries. We'll give you a report as soon as we have more details. 2nd and 8 for the Cowboys. Aikman back to pass and throws it complete. What a nice haul in that time by Jay Novacek. A 17-yard pass play to Novacek and a first down for the Cowboys. Boy, there was a lot of fun out of first and 10. Ball at the 45. Start of the second quarter. Cowboys not on the scoreboard yet. Over to Smith. And Smith, good pursuit on the part of the Cardinals as they force Smith back for a 2-yard loss. Tim McDonald leading the way.
Once again, they're trying to get Emmitt Smith out in the flat with the ball, hoping he can juke and make one guy miss and go for a big play. The Cardinals are not buying it. They know they've got to get as many guys out as possible, and they're doing it. Emmitt Smith, second leading rusher in the NFL going into today, has also been very effective on grass. Yet he hasn't been able to get started today. The Cardinals have been all over him.
Emmitt Smith, very effective no matter what the surface is for him. Second and 12. Aikman back to pass with time. Drills it complete again to Novacek, and Novacek, it takes a couple of guys to bring him down. Aeneas Williams had him roped around the waist. A gain of 7 on that play will bring up a 3rd and 5. Boy, Novacek, you mentioned him as being one of the weapons that the Cowboys have. You know, you really must think of him in the same category as Keith Jackson, the other premier tight end.
Well, his numbers and Keith Jackson's are almost exactly the same. And in terms of this offense, he's a tight end that can block, and like Keith Jackson, also a downfield threat. You know, the Cowboys have so many different ways to get to you. If it's terms of passing the ball, if it's not Michael Irvin, they can still go downfield to Jay Novacek.
Novacek, the former Cardinal. Smith, the lone back. 3rd and 5. Flag on the play, free play for the Cowboys, and it looks to be a first down. Oh, the Cardinals say fumble. We'll await the official signal, and it looks like, in fact, that happened. Michael Irvin with the first down catch. The ball knocked loose, and the Cardinals come up with it.
Offside. Number 22 defense. Lined up in the neutral zone.
Well, that'll be nullified, so there will be no fumble.
Defense, so they're going to take it. They're going to take it.
Dave Durison.
First down.
And the word from the field, as far as Chris Chandler is concerned, he did in fact injure his ribs, will not be back for the game. As you take a look at Dave Durison, former Chicago Bears player, the guilty party at that time, and so the Cowboys keep the drive alive.
Dave Durison, they say, lined up in the neutral zone. What's interesting about that call is usually when a line judge sees a guy lined up in the neutral zone, he'll tell you. He says, you're lined up in the neutral zone, get back, or they won't call it this play. If you do it twice, they'll call it. Seldom do they actually call that the first time you do that.
They'll actually tell you that, huh? First and 10. Ball at the 35 of Phoenix. Smith. Excellent tackle that time by Tyrone Stowe. No gain on the play. Stowe, another one of these defensive players for the Cardinals who will be playing an awful lot today. Can you believe that Tyrone Stowe actually played with Ironhead Craig Hayward?
He was the blocking back for Craig Ironhead Hayward up at Passaic High School in New Jersey. So far, the Cardinals defense has met the challenge of making the play on Emmitt Smith without having to put 8 men in the defensive box.
I'd say Smith right now only 3 yards total on 4 carries. Aikman to Smith. And Smith on the screen pass gets it up to the 30. Or shall we say down to the 30. 11:30 and counting in the second quarter play. Phoenix on top of the Cowboys, 7-0.
One of the goals of the Cardinals was to take Michael Irvin out of the game. That's Massey, number 40, who's playing him underneath. They're bracketing Michael Irvin today. You'll have an underneath cornerback like you saw Robert Massey. Then you have a safety. Michael Zorich will be on top. They want to take him out of the Cowboy offense, make the rest of the Cowboy team win today.
Well, the graphics make the point there. No catches thus far. 3rd and 5. A bootleg by Aikman to Novacek. And Novacek has the first down. Now, this duo, Aikman and Novacek, really do have some synergy. A 13-yard pass play. When Novacek Novacek was holding out during the early part of the season, Aikman made certain that he was faxing the plays to him. He needs them.
Well, when you're a quarterback, you want all your weapons to be ready to go when they finally do get ready to go. This is a little play action. A fake to Emmitt Smith over the middle. Roll out to the right. Novacek is open. And one of the problems for the Cardinals is you triple Michael Irvin. You can take him out of the game, but then you have to single coverage the rest of the Cowboy attack receivers. You can't double everybody. And Jay Novacek will beat most linebackers one-on-one, and that's what's happening.
Ball marked at the 16 of Phoenix. First and 10. Smith. And Smith picking his way ahead for a couple. And George, you mentioned again that it was important that Phoenix had only 7 men in the box to stop the ground game of Emmitt Smith. Assess the action thus far.
Well, so far they're stopping Emmitt very effectively with their front 7. It's giving them the ability to double Michael Irvin. That's why we haven't seen him catch a ball yet. Maybe we'll get a chance. You've got 7 men. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These 7 guys have got to make the play themselves. Gives you a chance to double the receivers. But then, of course, you've got Jay Novacek beating linebackers one-on-one. Chest on a football field.
Second and 8. Screen again to Smith. And Smith nowhere to run. Give the credit that time to Lorenzo Lynch, who was all on top of it. Lorenzo Lynch out of Cal State Sacramento. Excellent job.
One would have to question the play calling at this point, JB.
Why?
They've run this same play, this little flip out, Emmitt Smith semi-screen in the flat at least 5 times. They have yet to gain any yards. The Cardinals are all over. That play is not going to work. As the big guy, Nate Newton, said to us, inside the 40 is considered Emmitt Smith territory, but that play is not working today.
And to underscore your point, a loss of 4 on the play. 3rd and 12. Ball at the 18. Aikman to Smith. And Smith down to the 10, still about 4 yards shy of what was needed for the first down. Eric Hill on the stop, and we saw a shot just a few seconds ago of Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys. You know he's charting that action. There's Norv, hands folded, and reason to have his hands folded because Phoenix playing well.
Phoenix is playing well. He's trying to think, what can I do to get in the end zone? What's the key to today's game? Every coordinator, offensive or defense, thinks that there's a key to victory. Right now, he wants to find out what's the key to victory for the Cowboys.
Lynn Elliott looking to tie the Cowboy record for consecutive games with the field goal at 9. And he does it. Lynn Elliott with a 28-yard field goal, finally getting Jimmy Johnson's Cowboys on the scoreboard. Phoenix leads it 7-3.
Is sponsored by Budweiser.
Phoenix right now doing the job on Emmitt Smith, 5 carries for a total of only 4 yards. Chris Chandler left with an injured rib. And even Michael Irvin, 2/3 of the big 3 package, that potent package for Dallas, no catches thus far.
Well, you'd have to say that the Cardinals' defensive plan of taking him out of the game has been successful. That doesn't mean, of course, that the other guys can't beat you, but at least that part of their game plan is successful.
Lynn Elliott with the kick from the 4, Johnny Bailey. And Bailey pushed ahead across the 25-yard line. And a reminder that coming your way this Thursday, we've got a football feast. Pack house here on hand. The Valley of the Sun, Sun Devil Stadium. Tim Rosenball at the helm, have been out since the 3rd game of the season. That against Philadelphia. And a miscue on the snap. And the Cowboys, Robert Jones, looks to have recovered. We'll await the official signal.
There's no flag down, JB. It looked from here as though they jumped the snap count. That's Ed Cunningham, a rookie center for the Phoenix Cardinals.
And Jerry Markwright indicating we'll get his call that in fact it is Dallas ball. And George, we mentioned, well, we'll see. It looks as if Jerry was going to talk. That matchup between Ed Cunningham and Robert Jones, these 2 guys know each other.
Well, they know each other. They played against each other in the East-West Shrine game. That's Ed Cunningham now. That's Norton in the middle of your screen. He jumped the snap count. He timed it. Ed Cunningham thinking block before he thought snap the football. Hence fumble.
Dallas gets the ball at the 27 of Phoenix. Smith. And Emmitt Smith with a run of 4 yards, his longest run thus far this afternoon. Eric Hill on the tackle. And Jimmy Johnson, maybe a little something to feel good about.
That's Kenny Norton, number 51, on the middle right to your screen, who comes in. It looks like Ed Cunningham, who is a rookie. Sometimes you make rookie mistakes, is thinking block, protect my quarterback, not thinking about snap the football. Big mistake.
2nd and 6. Ball at the 23. 6:54 left in the half to play. And running into Mike Jones for a gain of only 1, Mike Jones and company, was Emmitt Smith.
You know, they're really all over Smith today, JB. You would think a young team like this, who has made some miscues, they've now had a fumble, they've lost their quarterback, yet they still are emotionally, these young guns, Eric Swan, Michael Bankston, and Mike Jones, have not given up 1 inch and are still all over Emmitt Smith.
And Fritz Shermer really has put together a very nice game plan. If you take a look at Shermer.
That's Fritz right in the middle of your screen. We had a chance to chat before the game. He said the key to the game was these 3 young guns stopping Emmitt Smith, and they're doing it so far.
3rd and 5 from the 22. Aikman with the deep drop. Has to get rid of it in a hurry. Was it an interception? Aeneas Williams with only his 2nd interception of the season, and he's gone. Aeneas Williams, no flags on the play as Aeneas Williams comes up with his 2nd interception of the season. That was a 78-yard return for the touchdown.
Well, then there's going to be a dispute on this, JB. The Cowboys think he was down, that when he made the interception, he hit the ground and was touched by the Cowboy receiver. If he was touched and went down, then the ball is down there as opposed to a touchdown.
Well, I tell you, I didn't see a flag on the play. It may not have seen the beanbag being thrown out by the official. We'll wait.
He dives, great catch. The question is, was he touched by the Cowboys? Yes, he's touched. He's down. That's what they're called.
Yeah, but was he touched with his knee down?
Well, when he's laying down and touched, well, that's going to be the controversy. We'll find out.
It looked like he might have gotten up off of his knees when he was touched. And it's been corrected to an 80-yard interception return for a touchdown, but we'll see if it stands. There is a Cowboy player down back at the 30. Aeneas Williams have been very quiet this season, not talking very much with the press, trying to improve his performance. We'll see what happens. Here's Jerry Markwright.
That's what they ruled, JB. Down by contact. That when he made the interception and rolled down, he was touched. That makes him down. You know, I hear you. Is touched or not. In other words, if you're on your side and your side touches, that's the equivalent.
I hear you loud and clear, but take a look at this. Watch. Aeneas Williams looks to be up off of both knees, not on the ground, but with one hand. Take a look.
What they're saying is that when he makes the catch, which he does, he goes down. He's down right now.
But not touched. Still not touched.
He's touched, you see? Touch right there, knee down, ball there, 1st and 10, going the other way.
Guess what? Good call.
Thank you, JP.
Good call. But those are the kinds of arguments that we like to have without instant replay.
Credit that good camera work.
And Eric Williams was the injured Dallas Cowboy player. Looks to be okay as you take a look at him over on the sideline. So wipe away the interception return for a touchdown. 1st and 10, make it 2nd and 10 now for the Cardinals. Intended receiver that time was Randall Hill. Tim Rosenbaugh, I mentioned, was injured in the first 2 games of the season and taken out in the 3rd. And boy, is Jimmy Johnson livid on the sidelines with his players.
Well, he's trying to get his guys fired up. He knows something has got to happen. They've had enough opportunities today, and the Phoenix Cardinals are winning the battle at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't want to fall behind. He needs something to happen.
2nd and 10 from the 22. 5:45 left in the half to play. Johnny Johnson. And Johnson with a nice run across the 30. A 9-yard run by Johnny Johnny Johnson will bring up a 3rd and 1.
We talked about Johnny Johnson being a little bit banged up. When you're a big back like that, you tend to get better as the game goes on. So while he might have started out a little slowly, he now is starting to hit his stride. 9-yard first down run. Nice play.
You know, that was actually the right move to see Jimmy Johnson screaming at his troops right now, because, again, these guys really haven't displayed the kind of intensity you would expect. 3rd and 1. Cardinals 1 of 3 on 3rd down conversion. And Dallas coming into the game with a league best 26% average of stopping teams on 3rd down conversions. Shows why maybe that screaming that Johnson did was heard by the guys out there.
Well, we've talked about the Cardinal role of gang tackling and mass get 12 guys to the ball type of defense. This is the Cowboy version. You've got Johnny Johnson trying to get that first down, tackled by the Dallas Cowboy defense. A lot of big guys in there. That's Jeff Coates, the veteran you just saw, number 77.
And as I mentioned, I'm sure the defense heard the noise of Jimmy Johnson screaming. Takes a Phoenix Cardinal roll out of bounds at about the 24. 4:17 left in the half. 45-yard punt. Back in a moment. Coming your way here on CBS on Thursday, as the Cowboys will have a short work week. To that short work week on a high right now, not an awful lot to smile about, other than the fact that the Cowboys defense doing a nice job.
Cowboys defense is playing well. The Phoenix offense only has 25 yards passing, 25 yards rushing, but they're still behind. The Cowboys need to put some points on the board.
From their own 25, 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Aikman with the deep drop again. Throws it complete as Aeneas Williams was right there, but Michael Irvin coming up with his first catch of the afternoon, that at the 4:07 mark of the first half, an 18-yard pass play.
Michael Irvin not only made his first reception, but it's his favorite type of pass. When we spent some time with him, he said he liked that quick slant over the middle. If it's on 1st and 10, which that was, he's thinking touchdown. So he got the slant, he got the coverage. Wasn't a touchdown, but maybe he's back in this game.
1st and 10, Emmitt Smith. And Smith spinning his way to the 45, a gain of 2 on the play. You know, that's kind of interesting, too. The slant play being Michael Irvin's favorite, right across the middle where most wide receivers don't like to go.
Well, it's not a total straight cross. It's a slant. It's kind of like Jerry Rice does for San Francisco. When you got that guy hanging on your outside shoulder, and Michael Irvin being a big guy, as you know, because you and I spent some time with him talking about his weightlifting program, he could smack that corner out of the way, and he could see the end zone, like the quick slant.
Irvin thinking he's pretty strong, but most quarterbacks say that is the case. 2nd and 8 from the 45. Aikman to Smith. And Smith has the first down for Dallas in Phoenix territory. A gain of 10 on that play. Emmitt Smith has not been able to do it so much on the ground, but he's gone to the pass receiving game and still showing his versatility.
Well, it's almost as though the Cowboys have acknowledged that they cannot run the football on the young guns. So what they want to do in order to get Emmitt Smith in the game, to get the football in his hands, is they're going to have small passes, whether in the flat to the right, flat to the left, or over the middle. Get him the ball, not run it, pass it to him.
2:20 left in the first half of play. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Aikman, deep drop again. Pumpy decides to take it and drop inside the 40 by Tyrone Stowe. A gain of 5 on the play by Troy Aikman with his 25th carry of the season.
Not a sack, a flush out of the huddle. This is what you would consider, it's not a sack, but it's really like a cover. You want to give the coverage, you got to give an A+ to the defensive backs of the Cardinals. Nobody's open. Troy Aikman had the presence of mind not to throw the ball up and get interception. Pull it down, get what you can.
And an assist to Jock Jones. Aikman nearly intercepted as Troy Aikman was throwing. The intended receiver was Jay Novacek. Michael Zordich had a bead on what should have been his second interception of the season.
That's Jade Novacek in motion. He's getting single coverage a lot today. There you see it once again. Aeneas Williams trying to single cover Jade Novacek. Almost intercepted twice in the same play.
Now, Fritz Shurmur, what is it that he's doing to keep Aikman from looking to the side of Irvin as much?
Well, Aikman, when he comes back, he's got his pre-snap read, is seeing that they're doubling Irvin on the outside. He's going to single coverage.
Cowboys 1 of 5 on third down conversions, and it's complete. Harper has the first down, so make it 2 of 6. A 20-yard pass play as you take a look at Dave Durison.
8 of 19.
Trying to be there on that play. And again, talk about the weapons. This is the guy, Harper, that the Cardinals said would have to beat them.
Well, Harper's going to make a play now. He hasn't caught more than a couple balls a game for the last 4 weeks. The Cardinals feel that they're going to make this guy beat him. They're going to take Michael Irvin out of the game, and if Harper can beat him, he can beat him. He's going to have to step up today. A chance for him to be a star.
Only the 18th catch of the season for Harper. Aikman escapes the tackler, throws it complete to Irvin. And Irvin runs near the first down marker, but there's a flag at about the 11-yard line. And I believe that was Keith Rucker who nearly had him. Joe Bugle, of course.
Number 83, offense. And not a penalty. First down.
And that's Kelvin Martin, a 6th-year player out of Boston College.
Most famous as a punt returner.
Well, I tell you, I think Jimmy Johnson will have a conversation at halftime that will be heard by quite a few folks.
Well, I think he's going to try to get his troops up. That's for sure. Jimmy Johnson does not look like a happy man at this point.
Only a couple hairs out of place, though.
He's got that neat look, but he's thinking, we have a game coming up on Thanksgiving in 4 days. We can't afford to lose this game.
And he underscored the importance of that as the Cowboys, chase the San Francisco 49ers for home field advantage, trailing by 1 game to the 49ers right now. 1st and 12. I'll make that 1st and 20. Sorry about that, as Alvin Harper hauls in yet another one. And a timeout called with 50 seconds left in the first half. Cardinals on top by 4. Seconds left in the first half. Also 50 seconds away from our dynamic duo up in New York. Halftime report, Greg and Terry will have all the scores and highlights from all of today's NFL action. And the dynamic duo will be 2nd and 7. Complete. Martin near the 10. And if they mark it there, that's enough for the first down. We'll see where they spot it. Dallas calls its second timeout, leaving it with 1. Cardinals have 3 remaining, and where the ball is spotted will be about a half a yard shy of what was necessary for the first down. Well, it doesn't quite qualify as a stampede, but the Cardinals certainly have done a nice job of stonewalling, and Fritz Shurmur, the head stonewaller, the architect. You take a look at some of the young guns.
Those are the young guns.
3rd and 1 out of the eye. Darryl Johnston, the blocking back. Novacek in motion. Smith, the ball carrier. First down, plus a bunch. 34 seconds and counting left in the first half. Cardinals on top of the Cowboys 7-3. And Aikman decides to stop the clock so as not to blow the last timeout. And Jimmy Johnson with his troops, ball at the 7. Looking obviously for the score here. Now, you know, Phoenix really has done a nice job at taking away at least the big weapons, Irvin and Smith, by and large. Smith only 10 yards, well, prior to that carry on the ground. Irvin only 1 catch. So, again, pretty good, but it also speaks to the kind of weapons that Dallas has.
Absolutely. What you're going to have today, if the Cowboys are to win, there are going to be some unlikely heroes. It'll be Kelvin Martin or it could be Alvin Harper. But the
Aikman incomplete. No flag on the play. Intended receiver, Jay Novacek. And again, I guess to complete my thought when I was mentioning about the weapons that the Cowboys do have, Irvin and Smith have not been major factors, but they've been going to Novacek, they've been going to Martin, they've been going to Harper.
Well, Novacek is a fine receiving tight end, and you can't double cover everybody. So they isolate number 84, Jay Novacek, on a linebacker. Most linebackers can't stay with him. And that's Tim McDonald, a strong safety who plays like a linebacker, and Novacek should win that battle most of the time.
3rd and goal. The Cowboys convert 40% on 3rd down. Not the case today. Only 3 of 7. Touchdown. Dallas Cowboys. Jay Novacek. 2nd receiving touchdown of the season for Novacek.
Too much time. Fritz Shermer and his defensive scheme gave Troy Aikman too much time to pass the ball. You're on the 5-yard line. You need to get pressure on the quarterback. Novacek is not really open, but he's just looking for a little hole to sit down in. You need to put pressure on Troy Aikman. They rushed with 3 men. They had 5 men blocking him. Troy Aikman had all the time he needed to look around, wait for Novacek to find a hole touchdown.
Elliott boots the point after, and the Cowboys go on top. And I think my math teacher will certainly get on me about the 3rd down conversions, but the Cowboys lead it by 3. Know who actually went to the Cowboys along with Rob Awalt, still doing the job here, and what a nice luxury for Troy Aikman to have a big, good-handed receiver like Jay Novacek.
And Jay Novacek knows when to sit down. He reads the zone coverage very well. He sat down between those 2 linebackers. There was only a 5-yard pass. Got in there before they could react. I'm sure the Cardinals would like to have that guy back.
12 plays covering 75 yards, a little over 4 minutes off of the clock. 14 seconds left in the first half, and the Cowboys are on top by 3. Lynn Elliott. And the up man taking it. I believe that's Lance Smith. And boy, talk about a big running back as he barrels ahead after the tackle. A couple of more yards.
Sure, the big fella in his own mind's eye saw himself picking that ball up, breaking tackles, and running about 80 yards for a touchdown.
And at about close to 290 pounds, a tough man to bring down.
Tough man to bring down, but it's tough to carry that 290 pounds, 80 yards also.
9 seconds left in the first half. Dallas has moved in front by the score of 10-7. Rosenball, flag on the play, and Rosenball hit from behind and loses the ball. He hit hard by Jim Jeffcoat, and there is a flag on the play. 1 second left on the play clock. We'll make that the game clock. Boy, Jeffcoat has really been applying some pretty wicked hits.
He's a veteran. He knows he's got to step up when one of your teammates goes down. Charles Haley is not here. A veteran looks for that opportunity to step up his game, and that's what he's done today.
Jeffcoat has not publicly complained at all about Charles Haley coming in and being the man. He's only stepped up his play, as you indicated.
Well, he stepped up his play because he recognized that Charles Haley can only help this team. They all want to get to the Super Bowl. That's what success is all about, so you can't feel jealous about anyone that helps the team. That's Big Jim Jeffcoat.
2 minutes, the ball is returned to the spot of the fumble. We have an illegal formation foul on the offense. Number 77 was uncovered. 6 men on the line of scrimmage, and penalties declined. 2nd down.
You know what? As a matter of fact, that's the 2nd time it's happened in 2 games for the Cardinals in terms of not having enough men on the line of scrimmage. Happened against the Falcons.
Jeffcoat applying the pressure from behind. You know, Tim Rosenball was looking for a big play downfield. Not likely to happen with that little time in the game.
And that's the end of the first half. Joe Bugles Cardinals trailing the Dallas Cowboys by 3, 10-7. Greg and Terry will be along in New York to update you on all the scores around the NFL.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart. And by the Travelers, you're better off under the umbrella.
This is Dallas, Texas, where our greatest asset is our people.
At their own 20. I talked about the big crowd here on hand, all kinds of special activities taking place here surrounding the Cowboys' arrival, even a wedding that took place up on the parking lot. A brighter moment. Yes, indeed. When you have a sellout and you're at home, everything looks like it could go your way. Maybe the Cardinals are thinking that a wedding might be a positive influence on the game today.
And congratulations to Terry White and Cliff Swam for being married here, and they've got a contingent of about 300 that are here watching the game now. No word yet on what the honeymoon plans will be. And a gain of 6 on the play by Emmitt Smith will bring up a 2nd and 4. And another joyous note, if you will, we'd like to take a moment to congratulate one of our own, CBS director and Arizona State alum, Mike Arnold, and his wife, Renee, the birth of their son, Mark Tyler Arnold. We wish them the best. And believe it or not, Mike's mom, Barbara Weinstein, is here, a big Cardinal fan, but she's taking off right after the game to head to New York to see her grandson. 2nd and 4. Ball at the 26 of Dallas. Smith with the hold. First down. Emmitt Smith across the 35. And Emmitt Smith, you may be able to ball him up for a little while, but seemingly not long. A 10-yard run by Emmitt Smith.
The Cardinals have changed their defensive alignment. They went from a 3-man line to a 4-man line. They came out 1st and 10 and 2nd and 4. Different alignment. Emmitt Smith seems to find it much to his liking.
Ball marked at the 36, 1st and 10. Smith, the lone back. Smith across the 40 to about the 41. Finally tackled by Aeneas Williams. And that was his 8th catch. That ties a career high for Emmitt Smith.
By going to a 4-man down line, JB, what they've done is hoping to put more pressure on the quarterback, but of course by dropping down a linebacker or adding another defensive lineman, you've taken one of your defensive pass defenders out of your game plan. So it may open up the pass game for the Cowboys.
2nd and 5 out of the eye. Smith the tailback. The pitch to Smith. And Smith grabbed nicely that time by Keith Rucker, the big fella. You can see he has not missed a meal, 325 pounds, but the big fella was light on his feet, a loss of 2.
They have 7 in the box now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got 7 in the box. Those guys have got to stop the run. They had 7 before, which was 3 down and 4 linebackers. Now they've gone to 4 down and 3 linebackers, but 7 is still 7, and a good quick move by a big man.
I can imagine what Smith was thinking, seeing number 79, Rucker barreling in. 3 wide receivers. 3rd and 7. Aiken incomplete, intended receiver was Novacek. Dave Durison on the coverage.
Now, JP, you'd have to wonder, why would you change your defensive alignment? You've been very successful against Emmitt Smith with 3 down and 4 linebackers. Why would you switch? Why would you, George? Thank God you asked the right question. I think because they know that Jimmy Johnson in halftime is going to redesign his offense to beat the 3 down man, 4 linebacker thing. So you come out and you show the whole nother look.
And that's exactly what Fritz Sherman did. Mike Saxon on the punt for the Cowboys. Boy, my Columbia mate here to the right is all over it. Not a good punt from the 24. Bailey. And Bailey dropped by Darren Woodson. Boy, the special teams star Darren Woodson all on top of it. Only a 7-yard return by Bailey. In the first quarter, there he is with the jacket, bruised ribs, and the report from the sideline. The former University of Washington quarterback who had a bet with his good friend Tim Rosenbaugh, of course, the previous quarterback at Washington State. And guess who has the treat now? Chandler on weekend junket.
He said he couldn't lose either way.
Weekend junket, he's got the treat. Rosenbaugh, too, to Las Vegas. And again, the interesting note there, no real quarterback controversy between Rosenbaugh and Chandler. These guys are best of friends.
Well, they're professionals. They realize that a quarterback controversy can only hurt the team. They just want to help the team.
First and 10. Ball at the 32. 11:51 in the third quarter play. Johnson. And Johnny Johnson still on his feet. Talk about good, hard driving second and third effort. A hard-earned 3 yards by Johnny Johnson. Jim Jeffcoat finally brings him down. And George, now don't take this as me teasing you, but did they have photos to be used as
back when I played in the Dark Ages? Is that what you're trying to say, JP? Actually, back in those days, they used little Polaroid, and they passed little Polaroids down. Of course, this is now the 90s, and we're much more high-tech.
And did they not used to bring it down on a string, or do they still bring it down on a string?
I'm not sure if they brought it down the string or they just threw it down as we got there. But football is still football.
Excellent run by Johnson for 5, and it looks to be about maybe a half a yard shy of the first down marker. Tim Rosenbaugh looking to get into a bit of a groove, had been working out with the scout team, while Chris Chandler, of course, working with the main unit. But he has been getting some time. Rosenbaugh missed all of last season, recuperating from a knee injury that occurred during training camp. The year prior to that, one of only 2 quarterbacks in the league to take every snap. And where the ball is spotted now, it's a 3rd and 2. Ball at the 40. Bailey, and Bailey's not going to make it. Good defensive pursuit by the Cowboys and Jeffcoat. Now, gosh, you got a big back like Johnny Johnson. Might you not have gone with him?
Well, I agree with you. And, of course, that's the problem Joe Bugle had in Philly when Johnny Johnson was hurt and he had to run Bailey. He never could score against that great Philly defensive line. I would have thought in short yardage that he would have taken advantage of the size of Johnny Johnson in a short yardage situation.
Cardinals, normally very aggressive, have gone for it on 4th down more than any team in the league. Not so here. Low snap, flag on the play. And the signal for the fair catch at the 13 by Kelvin Martin. But there are flags, 3 down on the field.
Looks to me, JB, to be a possible offside versus the Cowboys. If that's true, of course, it's 1st and 10 for the Cardinals, and Joe Bugle right now is keeping his fingers crossed as Jimmy Johnson is hoping that's not the case.
And was that Isaac Holt who might have been offside that time? We'll see what Jerry Markwright has to say about it. Isaac Holt not starting this game at left corner in favor of the rookie Kevin Smith out of Texas A&M, and Isaac Holt was not pleased about the demotion at all.
We have 2 fouls on the play. We have a holding foul after possession was gained. Number 37 on the receiving team. That penalty is declined. We have offside. Number 30, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And there's Isaac Holt, as I was just mentioning, not pleased about the demotion. As a matter of fact, a lot of the Cardinals, especially Randall Hill, was saying, gosh, Holt looked at him playing quite well to us.
Well, that's Holt jumping offside. No veteran wants to be replaced by a rookie. Kevin Smith, the Cowboys feel, is a young man that could play man-to-man coverage, whereas Isaac Holt is primarily a zone coverage guy, and they want someone that they can put on the opposing team's best receiver playing man-to-man. That's Jimmy Johnson, very upset with Isaac Holt, even more so right now.
And Jimmy Johnson made no bones about it. He thought the kid Smith had to have some playing time. Rosenbaugh back to pass. Complete the Butch roll and roll. Hit hard by James Washington. A gain of only 2 on that pass play. James Washington listed at 197 pounds, going at a 250-pound H-back. And for more on what's taking place around the NFL, let's check. Jim Everett definitely in a nice groove right now. Usually has big games against San Francisco. And 2nd and 8. Nearly hauled in that time by Anthony Edwards. Edwards looking for a flag on the play, but covered nicely that time, and boy, it would have been a great highlight reel if that one had been completed.
Well, that was Tim Rosenbaugh's first attempt at a downfield pass. He had good protection. He had good time. He read the right guy, led him a little too far. Anthony Edwards couldn't quite get it, but it may bode well for the Cardinals that Tim Rosenbaugh feels comfortable throwing the ball downfield. He had plenty of time, good pass blocking, just a little too far. Just a little too far.
He's got an arm. 3rd and 8. 8:56 left in the third. Rosenbaugh nearly picked off by Larry Brown. Larry Brown had a nice read on that one, was looking for what should have been his second interception. So Rich Camarillo will come on to punt it for the Cardinals.
Well, Rosenbaugh dodged the bullet on this one. Larry Brown reads it right, times it right, comes up, just can't quite hold on to the ball. Could have been a big turnabout for the Cowboys. Fortunately for the Cardinals, he didn't hold on to it.
Camarillo, NFC leader, as I mentioned before, in net punting. And Kmart, Kelvin Martin, has to signal for the fair catch at the Dallas 10. 8:43 left in the third. Cowboys on top by 3. House here at Sun Devil Stadium. Only the third time since the Cardinals have moved here that's happened, and only the second time on local TV. The previous sellout against the Bears some 2 years ago did not happen outside of the 72-hour time limit, so only the second time on TV in the state of Arizona. Flag on the play as Emmitt Smith takes it ahead across the 15. But there is a penalty on the play. Michael Bankston grabbing his jersey, trying to signal a hold, but that could be called every time. And that will go against the Cardinals. The Jerry Markbright and crew have had an awful lot of housekeeping activities to take care of today.
That's offsides, and I think they're calling it on Michael Bankston.
Number 97, defense, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. First down.
All right, that's Steve Heisch starting today for the first time, and I guess, George, the players must not be getting the conversation from the officials that you indicate usually is a courtesy.
Absolutely. That's number 97, Steve Heisch, who's starting today for the first time. Usually that line judge will tell you if you lined up and you're encroaching on the neutral zone, that they don't want to throw penalties. They'd rather you get back.
Also one of the team's best special teams players. He ought to be tired after the game today. On 1st and 5, Smith looking to go outside to the left. And Smith runs hard for the first down. Emmitt Smith with a very determined run that time as he headed for the first down marker and made it a 6-yard run by Smith.
That's Steve Heisch, who was offsides or actually encroached on the neutral zone. This time he wants to make up for it. Whenever you get a penalty, you don't want to go to the sideline unless you've made good for it. He gets blocked. That's Johnston on him. He can't make the play. Emmitt Smith around the left side. So not only did he get the penalty, but he gets blocked. Couldn't make a play. Next play.
10-7, Cowboys lead. 7:43 left in the third period of play. 3 wide receivers in for the Cowboys. And Aikman drills it. Was it caught by Alvin Harper? And indeed it was. 9-yard pass play, and Alvin Harper gets up very slowly. Now, Alvin Harper doesn't like a lot of defensive traffic in which to catch balls.
Alvin Harper would rather go downfield, jump for the ball. He's an ex-high jump champion. He normally doesn't catch a ball over the middle because of just this type of thing. He doesn't like to take those big hits. The Cardinal defensive backs are going to let him curl in front, catch the ball. They're going to come up and try to deliver as much punishment as possible. He got up a little bit sore.
Another Tennessee wide receiver. And Darrell Johnston ahead for the first down. Well, a lot of, it seems like just like Miami, the University of Miami is famous for producing such great quarterbacks. University of Tennessee does a great job of putting out professional wide receivers. We mentioned Carl Pickens, Willie Gault. Pickens, of course, with the Cincinnati Bengals.
And Alvin Harper, number 80, in the middle of your screen. Yet another.
Anthony Miller, Chargers. Boy, Chargers are playing some good football. 1st and 10. Ball at the 35. 2 tight end formation. No Novacek in motion. Goes to Emmitt Smith as a safety valve, and Smith run out of bounds at about the 41. Well, you know, you just can't take away all of the weapons. 9th catch, establishing again a new career high for Emmitt Smith. You just can't take away all the weapons of the Cowboys.
Well, and Joe Bugle spoke about the fact that Emmitt Smith is going to get his yards no matter what they do. This is the first time really that this little play has worked. You know, if you throw it out there enough times, eventually Emmitt Smith is going to make somebody miss. That's number 40, Massey, who misses. Emmitt Smith is a great running back. You keep giving him that opportunity, eventually he'll make a big play.
And don't tell me North Turner didn't make some adjustments at halftime. 2nd and 4. Ball at the 41. Cowboys on top by 3. The draw to Smith. Not much doing that time as the big fella, Keith Rucker. I tell you, despite that girth and size there, Rucker doing a nice job there. I got to tease. You were talking about that young gun defensive line of the Cardinals. And this is appropriate. A set of big buns on these guys, but that's what Joe Bugle looks for from his old Hawk days.
Well, what you want to have happen is that the offense has to use up more than one guy to block those big fellas on the defensive line. You could tell that obviously it takes 2 to 3 offensive linemen to move him off the line of scrimmage. When you do that, you create an imbalance, and your other guys can get in behind and make the tackle.
3rd and 4. Complete to Smith. A huge first down for the Dallas Cowboys in terms of yards covered. 16-yard pass play. Lorenzo Lynch finally with the tackle on Emmitt Smith. And Troy Aikman certainly has done a nice job of spreading the ball around. Wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, 10 of those receptions to the running backs have gone to Emmitt Smith, 10 for 54 yards.
Well, that's what the Cowboys have that, of course, scares the opponent's defense. And Joe Bugle, as we spoke with him, they have so many weapons and so many ways to strike. And like a good offense, what they do is they find out what you're stopping, and they'll take what you're not stopping.
4:07 left in the third period of play. And Smith, or check that, Irvin Richards out of Pittsburgh, the ball carrier. Mike Jones on the stop. You know, I talked on a Dallas radio program earlier, and so many folks were asking the question, you know, is Emmitt Smith being run too often, and should not Irvin Richards be in there to spell him more often? You're thinking you played with a guy, Larry Brown, who ran the ball an awful lot with the Redskins.
All great running backs want to have the football. They don't want to sit on the bench and watch somebody else carry the ball. When he gets tired, Emmitt Smith will come out. He's been known to say to Jimmy Johnson, "I'm tired." Till he says that, he wants to run the football.
2nd and 9. 2 tight ends in. Aikman complete to Novacek. And Novacek was trying to work hard to get to the first down marker. Good pursuit, but a gain of 5 nonetheless. Well, I know one thing, even with the extracurriculars down on the field, you got to know Jimmy Johnson is pleased about that, because he was trying to get just that kind of intensity from his guys.
Well, he wants to get his guys fired up, and he's got to be happy about this drive. They haven't put any points on the board yet, but they've occupied an awful lot of time this quarter as they slowly march down the field toward the end zone.
2:47 and counting left in a third. Ball at the 37 of Phoenix. 4 wide receivers in for the Cowboys. 3rd and 4. Need to get to the 33. First down catch, Harper. Nice spin move. He's gone. Touchdown, Dallas.
Great move by Alvin Harper. He caught a little look in, faked in, pivoted to the outside. Single coverage. He beat it. Touchdown. A good receiver. You cannot single cover all day. He'll eventually put points on the board. They didn't think Alvin Harper was that guy. He has proven today to be that guy. He's in single coverage. Makes the move. Comes up. Spins to the outside. That's Lorenzo Lynch. Can't cover a man-to-man. A good receiver. Given enough opportunities, will score. He did. Nice play, Alvin Harper.
Second receiving touchdown of the season for Alvin Harper. And the point after is blocked. It looked like Lynn Elliott actually slipped that time. First point after season. Joe Bugle scratching his head to come up with more to try to stop these Cowboys.
That's Alvin Harper scored that last touchdown. Joe Bugle said, if we're going to lose today, we're going to make Alvin Harper beat us. So far, he said, fine, I'll do that.
Edwards. Anthony Edwards upended and tackled by Larry Brown. And the Dallas guys had a reason to cheer. Tony Casillas showing the touchdown sign of that Harper reception. Saturday on Olympic Winterfest, countdown to Lillehammer for the first time in the history of figure skating. Professionals and amateurs will compete in the same event at the Chrysler Concord Pro-Am Figure Skating Challenge. Scott Hamilton, 1992 silver medalist, Paul Wiley, and 92 Olympic bronze medalist Nancy Kerrigan will compete. This could be a prelude to the pros and the amateurs. That'll be coming your way next week here on CBS. And back to live football action is Johnny Johnson running hard. Johnny Johnson with the reception that time. 9-yard pass play. Will bring up a 2nd and 1.
That was a little screen play to the left. Let's take a look at it. It's a little play action. Mark May is pretending to stay in the block. That's Mark May in the center of your screen, number 73. Then he comes out, throws a good block. Hog, nice block mark. Johnson upfield on reception. It's a one-man screen. Just the guard gets out.
One pretty big man. 2nd and 1 from the 27. Johnson, first down. Flag, a late flag on the play. As Phoenix going to its big back to try to get back in, trailing 16-7 with 1:27 left in the third quarter of play. And boy, the equipment guys have to stay very busy, especially on the shoes of Novacek.
Holding, number 59, offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And that's the rookie, Ed Cunningham, who is having his share of difficulties, but a very talented youngster.
He's a talented young man. He's from the Washington, D.C. area. He's playing. Seldom do you see a rookie at center because he's got to make so many line calls. He's got to pick up all the blitz. He's responsible for making sure the line slides the right way. Usually you don't see a rookie. What's interesting is he's playing against Robert Jones, middle linebacker, rookie for the Cowboys, who also is their defensive general. So you got two rookies going against one another. Ed Cunningham had a couple miscues today. That's another one that he'll want to make up for.
Rosenball. Bailey. And Bailey looks to pick up the first down. Indeed, he has.
Rosenball has got to get something going, and I don't say that just because they're behind in points and it's obvious they need to move the ball. That's Bailey. Obviously a very bright spot for the Cardinals. Maybe out of the backfield he has a little more speed than Johnny Johnson. He could become a factor in the game as we get to the fourth quarter. But they need to get some rhythm with Rosenball. If they're going to get back in this game, he's got to throw a little and pass a little.
And the key to that last graphic, versatility on the part of Johnny Bailey. Rosenball under pressure. Gets rid of it to keep from being sacked. But Rosenball under a lot of pressure by Leon Lett. Butch Rowe being locked up with a leg hold there. There's Leon Lett. Casillas and Butch Rowe going at it. That would have been a pretty interesting matchup. Butch Rowe maybe having a bit of a quickness advantage, but Casillas pretty strong.
Yes, it's pretty strong. This is Rosie. Now, I think that Joe Bugle at this particular juncture, it might be good to use his quarterback's mobility. Both Rosenball and Chandler can run. Might be nice to roll them to the left or the right a little bit since they're getting a lot of rush up the middle from the Cowboys defensive line.
So no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 with 11 seconds left in the third. The posse package, 3 wide receivers for the Cardinals. Rosenball on the draw. Jim Demcoat stopping Bailey after a 3-yard gain. And that will do it for the third quarter of action here at Sun Devil Stadium. Cowboys on top of the Cardinals 16-7. Last stanza upcoming. Russ, to watch from the sidelines, was very effective while he was in there until being knocked out at the end of the first quarter of action. Tim Rosenbaugh, number 3, in the middle there, came in to take over. Only 3 of 7 for 20 yards thus far, but the Cardinals only trailing 16-7. One more quarter left to play.
Rosenbaugh wants to move the ball and chip away. Some runs to Johnny Johnson, some passes to Johnny Bailey. Move the chains, chip away. Time is not a factor. More important that he gets out there and score.
On 3rd and 7. Rosenbaugh out of the shotgun. Throws it complete to Larry Centers, and Centers has the first down. 11-yard pass play as Rosenbaugh finds Centers.
And a difficult pass to deliver, JP. You've got that running back running away from you at an angle to the sideline. That could be a change for young man Rosenbaugh. He threw a fine ball on a difficult pass, still to his running backs. His wide receivers are being taken away by the Cowboys. They're giving him running backs underneath. He's taking them. Got plenty of time for it.
Roll to the near side. Anthony Edwards in the slot to the right. 1st and 10. Flag on the play. The interception will not be a good one as the flags stop the play and the whistles stop the play.
First start, number 74, offense, prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, first down.
All right, so that's Danny Villa, number 74, the culprit that time. And Villa, a very versatile lineman who's played virtually every position on the offensive line.
But he's been getting a lot of pressure today from number 92, Tony Talbert. So sometimes in these circumstances, tackles get a little skittish and come out a little too early when you're not sure of yourself. Tony Talbert's been pushing him back and pushed him back. Perhaps that's what happened that time.
Villa played center when Bill Lewis got hurt. Then when Rick Cunningham got hurt in right tackle, he moved in there. 1st and 15. Draw. Johnny Johnson carrying a load with him. 6 yards gained the hard way by Johnny Johnson. We'll take a look at Tim McDonald discussing things, and here is certainly one of the brightest guys in the game, Tim McDonald, as well as a guy many consider to be the best safety in the game.
Joe Bugle says he's the best by far in terms of strong safeties in the National Football.
Well, you would expect your own coach to say that, but a lot of other guys think it as well.
Well, you and I got a chance to talk to him. First of all, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, and a very cerebral guy. He broke down how the game was going to be played for us, and so far they've followed that scheme.
On 2nd down, incomplete as Rosenbaugh was looking for Johnny Bailey. We'll bring up a 3rd and 9 for the Cardinals with 13-19 left in the ball game, and Philadelphia just beat up on the Giants. Giants did come back to make it somewhat competitive, but Jeff Hostetler taken out of the game, taken to the hospital, knocked out in that ball game. So Philadelphia, I heard a lot of folks talking, we did that game last week, that as much chaos as there has been in Philadelphia, sometimes controlled chaos can be, I guess, a plus.
Well, that's what Rich Kotite said to us. His team plays better when things are not straight.
3rd and 9. Incomplete, and even if it had been caught, still far short of the first down. Johnny Bailey was the intended receiver.
JB, not a good pass. First of all, where are his wide receivers? Where's number 81, Randall Thrill Hill, the fastest receiver in the NFL? Secondly, it's 3rd and 8, and you throw a 4-yard pattern. What could you be thinking? If the ball is caught, it's still 4th down. You got to go downfield. You at least need the pattern to break it 8 yards if you want a first down. Defense will give you 4 yards when you need 8.
Alexander Wright, the former Cowboy, now with the Raiders, might argue with you about that speed. Rich Camarillo barely gets that one away. From the 16, Kelvin Martin. And Kelvin Martin, despite running into some of his own men, still takes it up to about the 34. Larry Centers finally with the tackle. An 18-yard return by Martin. We'll be back after this station break.
This is CBS.
Phoenix Cardinals young fun. Players with 2 years or less experience on that defensive line have really been put to the test today. Dallas doing a job, 273 total yards of offense.
They've got 273 yards, but they've had the ball so much more than the Cardinal offense. The Cardinals offensively haven't shown much, so these guys are on the field all the time.
Aikman thrown in the direction of Gerald Johnston, but a lot of heat put on Aikman by Jock Jones.
Jock Jones read that play correctly. He was all over Aikman, who had a choice. Take a sack or throw the ball upfield before your receiver's ready. This is Jock Jones coming in from the middle of your screen. Good play, good rush. Aikman had to throw the ball before he was ready.
Jock Jones played well really, he was very, very fired up about getting the chance to start.
And he's been very effective. He's got a lot of speed. He rushes the ball well. They don't lose much over there with him there.
2nd and 10. Ball marked at the 35. Aikman with time to Smith. And Smith being pushed out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. Tyrone Stone pushing him out. And there seems to have been a late flag thrown in the backfield of the Cowboys. Jerry Markwright trying to sort things out down there, and here he comes.
Holding. Number 71, defense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's Mark Tuinei, and he meant number 71 on offense.
Number 71, of course, was hoping that he meant number 71 on defense, but no, Mark, he meant you.
Very quiet guy, Mark Tuinei, in all the years I've known him, but certainly one of the strongest guys on the team. Good athlete. 2nd and 20. Ball back at the 25 of Dallas. Aikman, deep drop, drills it complete up. No, incomplete. Kelvin Martin not arguing, so I guess in fact that was the case. Officials right on top of it. Martin not offering any argument to Chad Brown, the umpire.
Martin was open, and the ball was delivered very well by Troy Aikman. Just a little bit low. Should have been caught.
Oh, absolutely. That ball was right there, even being low.
And you're down.
There's Chad Brown.
WWF. He is all over it.
Chad Brown right there. And again, looking at Chad Brown and his size, I don't think Martin would want to argue with him anyway. 3rd and 20. Incomplete. And what a hit applied on Kelvin Martin by Michael Zordich. Free safety's dream just about with that hit.
Kelvin Martin is not the biggest of guys anyway, and he doesn't like to catch the ball over the middle. Michael Jordan timed it right, came up and put the hit on him. It's a tough thing to do. Kelvin Martin is not the biggest guy in the world. Aikman stays in there. He's under a lot of heat, delivers the ball well, gets a little hit in the face, fingers in the eye, throws the ball downfield. A big opportunity for the Phoenix Cardinals right here to get the ball back with good field position.
Mike Saxon on to punt for the Cowboys. Standing back at the 35, Johnny Bailey. Signaling for the fair catch. And he hauls it in. A 36-yard punt, no return. Ball will be spotted at the 40.
This game summary is sponsored by Keystone Light.
Emmitt Smith has been contained fairly much so on the ground, but has done the job in the receiving department. Troy Aikman has a number of weapons to choose from, and he's been utilizing them nicely. Chris Chandler knocked out in the first quarter play for the Cardinals, and the Cowboys lead at 16-7, 12-14 left in the final period of play. And George, again, if you're looking at it from the Cardinal wide receiver standpoint, that's the posse. The three guys, only 2 catches amongst the 3 receivers.
We spoke about how the Cardinals were going to take various wide receivers of the Cowboys out of the game. Conversely, the Cowboy defense is taking the whole posse out. Just Jerry Rome, who's got to be thinking, need some passes to my outside guy.
Ricky Prohl doesn't have a catch at all. Randall Hill with 1. Anthony Edwards with 1. And that one is complete to Anthony Edwards, only his second catch of the afternoon. That a 13-yard pass play for the first down. 12 minutes and counting left in the ball game.
Obviously, he listened to you, JB. Jerry Rome must be wired into the booth up here. He's got to recognize that you can't win the game at this juncture just throwing underneath of your backs. You've got to take advantage of these guys on the outside who make good money and are professionals. Get them into the ball game.
And I think Jerry Rome certainly is all on top of it, trying to make it happen. Ball across midfield in Cowboy territory at the 47. First and 10. Rosenball on a quarterback draw, if that was by design, taking the hit. And leading the way was Darren Woodson, a loss of 3 on the play.
Sometimes in football you have plays that just aren't going to work. That's one of those plays where it's not necessarily a bad call by Jerry Rome, the offensive coordinator, or Joe Bugle. It's just that they had the right defense for that play. Did not work.
Officially marked as a loss of 4. Darren Woodson, another one of those very talented youngsters that Jimmy Johnson has been singing the praises of. Out of the shotgun, Bailey and centers. And what an effort to haul it in by Johnny Bailey. Not enough for the first down, but what an effort on his part to bring it in.
That's that same pass in the flat that Tim Rosenball has been throwing since he's come into the game. Sometimes he's hit it, sometimes he hasn't. That time he delivered the ball well, and Bailey is a good receiver. Of course, now it's third down. We're in the fourth quarter. Joe Bugle may be going for a fourth down also.
3rd and 7, need to get to the 37 for the first down against the toughest team defensively on 3rd down. And Simples had to concentrate on bringing the ball in just enough time for the Cowboys to respond defensively. Only 3 yards picked up on that pass play. Kenny Norton right there for the stop. And the question is, will the Cardinals go for it? As I mentioned before, coming into the game, the Cardinals have been the most aggressive of any team in the league going for it on 4th down. But Rich Camarillo comes on the punt with 9:52 and counting left in the ball game. And you take a look at how Phoenix has gone for it more times, although Cincinnati has converted most on 4th down.
This is the circumstance where Joe Bugle normally would go for it on 4th down. He obviously feels time is not a factor yet. That if the Cowboys get the ball back, his defense can stop him, and they can again have the ball on offense.
Fair catch. And Martin lets it go. And it looks like an excellent job by the special teams of Phoenix, as the officials discuss whether or not that in fact happened. A 38-yard punt. We'll see if Dallas is pinned in its own territory when we come back.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the special delivery company.
Joe Bugle very pleased with the job done by his special teams. The Cowboys start 1st and 10 from their own 3. 9:21 left in the game. Aikman looking, going up top. Incomplete, off with the fingertips of Alvin Harper, and that's the kind of route that Harper likes to run, and he obviously still feeling the pain from an earlier hit on that left side.
Well, he's taken a lot of hits today. He scored a touchdown, made some big plays, but he also has been punished. Interestingly enough, from the end zone where the Cowboys are, there's a couple things you can do. Most people think normally the best and safest thing to do is run. Not so. The best play is a pump fake, go downfield, stretch that defensive envelope, because you're going to have single coverage on the outside. If the ball can get there, you can get a big play. It was there, almost a big play.
2nd and 10. Alfredo Roberts in motion on the ground. And Smith taking it across the 5 for a gain of about 3. Now, this is the territory that Nate Newton was telling us about. Whenever the Cowboys are pinned deeply like this, the guys will come over and tap the leg of Michael Irvin and say, hey, fella, get us out of this territory here. Help us out.
This is considered to be Michael Irvin territory. Nate says, hey, Mike, get us out of here, Mike.
There's Michael Irvin. And Nate Newton, number 61. So we'll see if Irvin can indeed come through, as Nate says is often requested of him. complete to Smith. And Smith has the first down, getting exactly the 7 yards needed. 11th catch of the afternoon for Emmitt Smith as he continues to set a personal best in receiving.
JB, there are certain plays in the game, certain third down situations that are more key than others. That was one of them. Joe Bugle's gamble was pin them on the goal line, hold them, and in the exchange of punts, we'll get the ball back on the 40 with plenty of time to score and make the game close. The Cowboys came up with a big play. They went to their big man, Emmitt Smith. He got the first down. Very different from what we saw with Rosenbaum on third down, throwing a 4-yard pass when he needed 8. They needed 8. They got 8 yards plus 2 inches. 7 yards plus 2 inches. Just enough to get the first down.
Cowboys 7 of 13 on third down conversions, and unlike my math in the first half, I think that certainly qualifies for at least 40% conversion.
Your math teacher will be a lot happier with you now.
7:54 and counting left in the ball game. Cowboys on top, 16-7. Dallas hands it off to Smith, stopped by Stowe. A gain of 2 by Emmitt Smith. And Dallas will continue to try and chew up the clock. A touchdown and a field goal needed by the Cardinals, who trail by the score of 16-7. James Brown along with George Starkin. Glad to have you along here. Good ball game.
Well, that's number 90, number Tyrone Stowe in the middle of your screen. He's had a heck of a day today. He's the guy that's been following Emmitt Smith wherever he goes, and he's been there. They've shut him down on the run, although Emmitt Smith has been very effective on the pass.
Emmitt Smith, 16 carries for 40 yards, but Joe Bugle has seen him catch 11 for 61. Second and 8. Smith getting up near the 20, a gain of 5 on that play. 17 carries for 45 yards now.
Now with Tyrone Stowe, we just spoke about it. He follows Emmitt Smith wherever he goes. When he runs, Tyrone Stowe is going to be there. Emmitt Smith certainly earns his money. The Cardinals have gang tackled him all day long. He's still in there slugging.
Emmitt Smith came into the ball game trailing Barry Foster of Pittsburgh by 6 yards for the NFL rushing lead, but I'm sure that's the least of his concerns right now. He wants to win, whatever it takes. 3rd and 3. Ball at the 20. 3 wide receivers for the Cowboys. Aikman's intended receiver, Jay Novacek, in and out of his hands. So Bugle's Cardinals will get a chance to try and do some business with 6:14 left in the ball game and trailing 16-7. Timeouts remaining for both teams, the Cowboys and the Cardinals, both with 3 timeouts apiece. Saxon, in 188 attempts, has not had a punt block. Johnny Bailey, the dangerous one, waiting back at his 40. From the 45, Bailey. Johnny Bailey inside the 35 of the Cowboys, finally tackled by Kenneth Gant. A 36-yard punt, a 20-yard return by Johnny Bailey. 3 remaining, needs a touchdown and a field goal to do it. You indicated this is exactly what Bugle was counting on, getting the ball back with excellent field position at the 35 of the Cowboys.
He wanted his defense to hold the Cowboys in the exchange of punts, get the ball back in good field position. That's exactly what has happened. It's on the 35. Now Johnny Johnson is not in the game. Look for the pass. They've got to get in the end zone in this series.
Johnny Bailey and Larry Centers are 1st and 10 out of the shotgun. Randall Hill to the near side. To Centers. And Centers still on his feet. And Centers crawling his way inside the 30. Ball down by contact. 7-yard pickup on that play, and what good second and third effort by Larry Centers.
Now that was a play that we saw earlier where Mark May was coming out and blocking for Johnny Johnson. It's a little screen to the left. There's going to be one lead blocker out there, and if he can make this block, Larry Centers can go a long way. He beats the block. Larry Centers stays on his feet. He's fighting. He's struggling. He won't go down. That's a heck of a ball play.
Ball spotted at the 29. Will bring up a 2nd and 4. 5:18 left in the game. Rosenball complete to Bailey for the first down. Johnny Bailey with a very nice reception, beating Larry Brown on the coverage. 18-yard pass play down to the 11 of the Cowboys.
Larry Brown, of course, is the single covered defensive back out there. He's got Bailey one-on-one. That's normally what you want, but Bailey is like a wide receiver in that he executes his moves properly. Good pass, good reception. Larry Brown was there, just couldn't make the play.
As well as Darren Woodson. And a nice job on the part of Rosenball, looking to the right first, then coming back to the left.
Well, that also shows confidence in your offensive line when you can look away and then go back to your receiver.
1st and 10 from the 11. Rosenball flushed out, decides to take it himself. And Rosenball runs out of bounds at about the 6.
I think that's a very good sign for the Cardinals that Rosenball rolled to his right and then ran the football. It means he's coming into the game. He's a very mobile quarterback. He likes to run the ball. He likes to roll the ball. I think earlier he was nervous. He hadn't played in a long time, so he was dropping back and looking down and trying to throw the ball. Now he wants to make something happen. If his receivers aren't open, he's going to roll out. He'll challenge the line of scrimmage himself and try to make it happen.
2nd and 4. Ball at the 5. 4:45 left in the game. Cardinals trailing 16-7. Rosenball complete inside the 5 to Anthony Edwards. Larry Brown on the tackle. So a grand total of 2 yards picked up on that play. And the Cardinals can get the first down without having to score the touchdown. First down marker down at about the 6-inch, or we'll call it the half-yard mark. 4:07 left in the ball game. 3rd and 2. Incomplete. Not sure who Rosenball was throwing it to, and I'm not certain that he knows. He just got rid of it as Kenny Norton was hoping for the sack. And Norton had a little help with the defensive pressure from Kenneth Gant.
This is like a covered sack almost. They're covered like a blanket. That's Ricky Prohl trying to get open up top. Rather, Randall Hill, number 81, top of your screen, who was not open. Tim Rosenball saw he wasn't open, threw the ball into the ground rather than take the sack.
Actually was trying to throw it to Johnny Bailey, who was down on the ground. So Greg Davis will come on for a 20-yard field goal attempt. And he bangs it through. So with 3:48 left in the ball game, Cardinals cut the Cowboys lead to 16-10 ball game, as Jimmy Johnson discussing things with his special teams coach, Joe Avanzano. And boy, I tell you, I'm sure Jimmy Johnson has to be thinking about that missed extra point when Lynn Elliott slipped. Perhaps may be a factor.
Just might become a factor.
So take a look at the crowd here. 72,439, and that ranks as the largest crowd for the Cardinals since they've moved here to Sun Devil Stadium.
And one of the things that the Cardinals have wanted to do, JB, is build up fan support. When you have a game like what's happening today, win or lose, you have to credit the Cardinals with being right in the thick of it. It's been a slugfest from the time the gun went off this afternoon. And if they win, then obviously they would have made a lot of new fans. But either way, they've certainly played well against the Dallas Cowboys.
And especially when you consider the loss of Freddie Joe Nunn to a knee injury, partially torn ligament, and Ken Harvey, their sack leader, who really is hurting badly, no pun intended, in that he had to miss this game as well.
Of course, then Chris Chandler goes down. So is that they're in this game and they've showed a lot of enthusiasm. These are two young teams who may be the teams that will be battling for quite some time. A lot of second and third year guys on both clubs. Regardless, the Cardinals have shown themselves well today.
From the 6. And Kevin Smith runs it out of bounds. at about the 14. 3:41 left in the ball game, and right now let's swing you back to New York and Jerry Rice chasing the 100 touchdown mark of Steve Largent, one away. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Ball at the 14. Smith, the ball catch, and Emmitt Smith running to the right side hard. A gain of about 3 on the play, and Smith a little slow in getting up. You know, the one thing I really admire about Emmitt Smith as well, a lot has been, at least folks were trying to make a lot and are trying to make a lot of the fact that he's in the last year of his contract, paying him approximately $465,000 a year. Folks want to make an issue of it. I respect the fact that he is keeping that low key, not making it a public issue to take away from the team focus.
Well, he's taking a big gamble. He's been offered a bigger contract by the Cowboys, which he could take now. On the other hand, he says, if I have the great year I believe I'm going to have, I will be in a stronger position to negotiate at the end of the year. On the other hand, were he to get hurt or something between now and the end of the year, his negotiating position would go down.
Well, as Greg Gumbel reported last week on the NFL Today, the numbers offered Emmitt Smith were not Barry Sanders-like money. 2nd and 7. Ball at the 17. Throws it complete to Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt Smith taking it up to about the 24. Needs to get to the 25 for a first down. 3:03 remaining. Cowboys on top by 6. Dallas leading the Cardinals 16-10. Dallas with all 3 timeouts remaining. The Cardinals with 2. And George, I guess no real surprise in terms of what the play calling probably will be from the Cowboys.
You're going to see short plays, little chips, 3 plays, 4-yard plays, 5-yard plays. The Cowboys want to move the chains. They're probably 3 first downs away from ending this football game. If they can just use up the time, the Cardinals know this, of course, and you'll see the Cardinals up on the line of scrimmage trying to force something to happen, looking for a turnover.
3rd and 1 for the Cowboys, who are 7 of 14 on 3rd down conversions out of the eye. Flags on the play, and Emmitt Smith, the ball carrier.
It looked as though one of the Cardinals jumped off sides. Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith recognized it's a free play. Emmitt Smith hopped through. If the penalty is, in fact, against the Cardinals,
and George,
tough for them.
And looking at the field, it looked like there may have been 12 men on the field as well. Let's take a look at that. Eric Hill was the one who jumped off sides.
Not a happy Joe Bugle.
Then again, with the way my math was today, we'll find out if I counted correctly on that.
Your math teacher may forgive you.
By the defense. Illegal substitution. 12 men on the field. We have offside number 88. Both penalties are declined. It's first
12 guys on the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and in the back, 12. It's like you can't quite see him. He's off the edge of your screen, but there are 12 guys on the field for the Cardinals, not to mention an offside. Safety was a little out of my screen there.
I hope I'll get a call from the math teacher now. Rich Shermer, boy, very upset about that one, to say the least. So it's a first down for the Cowboys. Less than 3 minutes to play. 2:58. Ball at the 40 of Dallas. Boy, Emmitt Smith ahead for 3. Timeout called on the field by Phoenix, leaving the Cardinals with 1. Dallas still with its full complement of 3 remaining. 2:52. Cardinals down by 6 to the Cowboys.
Joe Bugle has got to keep his guys in the game. I hate to keep beating on the fact that they're so young, but they are young guys. They probably think they've lost it. They have not lost it. Bugle has got to keep his guys mentally in this game. Things can happen. They can still win.
Thanksgiving means to screw if, in fact, it can hold on. We'll certainly feel a lot better going into a short work week before the Thanksgiving Day game against the Giants. 2nd and 7. yards. Only 3 picked up that time on the ground by Smith, 4 yards shy of what's necessary for the first down, and Smith certainly has to be one tired warrior right now.
There's a guy that whatever he makes, JB, whether it's 400,000 or 4 million, he earns every single penny of it. If he's not running the ball, he's catching the ball. You shut down a run, okay, I'll go out and catch 15 balls. When you need a key third down situation, go to me. I want the ball. That's the mark of a pro, the guy who wants it in a critical situation.
Today's game was produced by George Veras and directed by Craig Silver. The associate director was Suzanne Smith. Broadcast associate Ward Glassmeyer. The coordinating producer of the NFL Today was Eric Mann and was directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin, and thanks to Gary Lynn, my spotter, and Steve Kleinfeld, the statistician. So Phoenix has called its last timeout, none remaining. Dallas with 3. 2:47 left in the ball game. Cowboys on top, 16-10. 3rd and 6. Incomplete, nearly picked off by Tim McDonald, intended receiver Michael Irvin, but there is a flag on the play. Now, was that interference?
Well, we haven't gotten a call yet, JB. It could be interference either way. The Cardinals needed a big defensive play because they need to get the ball back.
Number 35.
That's Aeneas Williams.
Aeneas Williams called for interference. Tim McDonald was in the neighborhood as well.
That's Massey, a one-on-one coverage.
Now, wait a minute. How can they call that on Aeneas?
Massey is number 40, who was in single coverage. Aeneas Williams was nowhere around. Obviously, there's a mistake.
Because Aeneas Williams looked to have been within the 5 yards necessary for the bump and run play, and Bugle is screaming and hollering as well. Let's take a look at that, see if we're wrong.
No! You're allowed to bump and run within the 5-yard margin. That's Aeneas Williams at the bottom of the screen. He's doing exactly that. He has not created an infraction.
Aeneas was perfectly legal doing that within the 5 yards necessary.
That's what defensive play is supposed to be. Bump and run within the 5 yards. He did what he should have.
And Bugle has a reason to be upset, but the net effect, a first down for the Cowboys at the 47 of Phoenix. 2:42 left in the game. Aikman on the ground. And Emmitt Smith continuing to drive. 4 yards on the carry. 2:32 and counting. Emmitt Smith with 73 yards on the afternoon. So if you're looking in terms of containing, which is what the Cardinals said they had to do with Smith, they've done that. Smith, in the last 4 games against the Cardinals, has averaged 114 yards a game.
In the last 4 games, he's also scored 10 touchdowns.
I'd say that's pretty productive.
Given the fact that he's done well against the Cardinals wherever, also on grass, he's been extremely productive. So one would think that he had a wonderful opportunity to pad his numbers today. The Cardinals' goal was to shut him down, and they have done so.
So we're at the 2-minute mark of the ball game. Joe Bugle's troops have played well, but Emmitt Smith grinding it out. To keep this guy here, Michael Irvin, from doing damage. He had 210 yards receiving last time out. Today, only 1 catch for 18 yards, but as we said before, a number of lethal weapons for Dallas.
Well, they said if they were going to lose, Alvin Harper, number 80, was going to have to be the guy to beat them. He has been averaging just a couple catches a game all year long. They didn't think he could do it. He's certainly given the opportunity, has stepped up to bat, and played very well.
Last week, Alvin Harper only 1 catch. This week, 5 for 88, including a touchdown. Emmitt Smith. And guess what? First down.
Emmitt Smith was trying to dive, not for the out-of-bounds line, to stay in. It looks like he hits the ground before he goes out of bounds. The clock should probably be running. The officials are probably feeling bad about that bad call. See, he's down. He's down. But they stopped the clock.
23 carries for 84 yards.
Yeah, the officials called him out of bounds, JB, when in fact he went down inbound.
First and 10 from the 32 of Phoenix. 1:53 left in the game. And Darrell Johnston, the up back with the carry, a gain of only 1. Take a look at Luis Sharp, longtime veteran for the Phoenix Cardinals, who certainly has been playing as well as he's played in his career.
Mark May says that Luis Sharp, Mark May, who plays next to Luis Sharp, says that this is a Pro Bowl year for the big fella, born in Cuba.
Well, that's saying
one
something.
of the premier tackles in the league.
Number 67, Luis Sharp, has been around for 11 years and doing a nice job of it.
And he and Mark May, who's been around 12 years, I mean, call your math teacher, I think that's 23 years of football between the two of them.
1:08 and counting left in the ball game, and Aikman goes down on one knee. Kenny Stabler would call that the win the game position, and with Phoenix not having a timeout remaining, nothing the Cardinals can do to stop the clock. And George, again, Jimmy Johnson's crew, an ugly ball game, but played well. Joe Bugle, you have to give his squad a lot of credit. They really played well, and you hate to see a drive sustained on what apparently was a bad call.
One of the things about being a playoff caliber team like the Dallas Cowboys is you have to win even when you don't play well. You find a way to win, and that's what they did today. You know, the number one guns were out, taken away by the defense of the Cardinals, and they still found a way to win. That's the mark of a championship team.
So the Cowboys will improve to 9-2. Emmitt Smith missed the versatility today. And Joe Bugle's squad will fall to 3-8. Jimmy Johnson trying to offer some words of encouragement to Joe Bugle. And Johnson speaks highly of the job that Bugle is doing and hoping that other folks recognize it. We'll be back with more after this.